6. I am your host, Taylor, and this week I am joined by Chris,
Hello.
Andrew,
I'm lagging, but I'm here.
and Anthony.
Hey everyone, nice to be here again.
All right, so Chris is our new guy on our 4th seat this week. So, Chris, tell us a little about yourself. What do you do here at Culture of Gaming?
Here at Culture of Gaming, I'm an editor,
Okay.
so just helping all these writers get their stuff out there, get published,
Yeah.
make sure it looks good and pretty.
Okay. And then we all know what Andrew and Anthony do for Culture of Gaming. They're continuing to do great work, and you all know what I do. Anyway, so what have you guys been playing this week? Chris, let's start off with you.
Ooh, man, I've been barreling through Wolfenstein 2,
Okay.
the new Colossus, and a lot of Monster Hunter.
Okay.
Definitely a lot of Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you
Alright.
liking Monster Hunter so far?
Hmm?
How are you liking Monster Hunter so far?
I like it a lot, except for the multiplayer system is so much more archaic than it needs to be. Like the biggest stipulation, honestly, and it's a big one because it's really annoying. It's made playing with friends almost more frustrating than not. It's the whole party leaders and everyone joining has to have viewed the cutscene of like an assigned quest or like a
Oh,
story
no.
quest. So you basically have to have played through the assigned quest and failed it to do it with friends because you can't redo assigned quests. So it's like if you want us to all play together, it's really hard to do so easily if you're really kind of chopping it up. Like, I mean, Dark Souls does it in a good way, archaic, but still, easy to understand and connect. Whereas this just seems like there's way too many layers of shit you have to deal with
Yeah.
just to play with one other person.
Okay.
Unless it's a random person. It's actually easier to play with random people than specific people, which I found very weird.
All right. And then Andrew.
I've been playing some Yakuza Kiwami, which is like a remake of the first Yakuza, and
Okay.
it is fantastic. I'm loving it so
Oh,
much.
Okay. And then Anthony.
Well, I haven't really had a PC all week, but I managed to get it up and running yesterday or the night before yesterday.
All right.
I've been playing a bit of Guts and Glory. Has anyone played that?
No,
No.
can't say they have.
Sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar. It's like a little. It's still in early access, but you play as a whole heap of different characters, and it's like an obstacle course. You've probably seen videos on Facebook or something like that, and you've got to get through without getting having limbs chopped off and stuff like that. So it's a bit hectic. And I've also been playing a bit of Black the Fall, which is a small indie thing that I got off Humble Bundle.
Okay.
Is Guts and Glory the one where you're on a bike?
Yeah.
Okay, I did see some video of that. That looks insane.
Yeah, it is insane. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay, I have been playing Monster Hunter World. Not the whole week. I'm
Ooh.
only like an hour into it, honestly.
I'll
Most of my
let you know right now it's like 30 hours of tutorial.
That's what it's seeming like. I think I got to the point where I picked my weapon, and then I just kind of stopped playing after that. And yeah, and other than that, I've been busy grinding in WoW. I'm trying to go for this achievement that rewards a mount that I saw a statistic for that only like 1% of the playing population has. So
Yeah.
I'm honestly trying to go for that. Started that grind, and I have no ETA. I'm probably gonna work up a spreadsheet for an ETA on that, but yeah. So
Fair enough.
yeah, that's been my week. All right, so our first topic for today, kind of going into the news topics to start the show off, is Activision, this little gaming company that you might have heard of, earned
Yeah.
$7 billion of revenue in 2017. $4 billion of that $7 billion was earned from microtransactions.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and now keep in mind the big scope of microtransactions that Activision has under their belt is they own King Software, which are the developers of Clash of Clans, the incredibly popular mobile game, apparently.
And Candy Crush as well, isn't it? I
Yeah,
think.
Candy Crush is king as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Those games are king of the microtransactions, so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Although another interesting statistic to go into that is that 48% of the microtransaction revenue for Clash of Clans specifically is paid for by 0.18% of the user base.
It's whales.
Wow.
Wow,
Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly Wales.
Yeah.
Crazy.
There has
Gee.
to be some kid spending like 15 grand on his mom's credit card.
Man, feels really bad.
People did it for Mass Effect 3 DLCs that were basically like
Just
hard upgrades. So like,
yeah.
I wouldn't put it past anyone,
Mhm.
really.
Yeah.
No. So
Sounds like some of the stories you hear coming out of here. Sound like
Mhm.
what the kids get up to around here.
those darn whippersnappers, let me tell you.
Exactly.
Yeah. They're ruining. But then also this whole microtransaction revenue also encompasses games like World of Warcraft, which has a little bit of microtransactions. You can buy mounts in the in-game store, and then I think stuff like character name changes, appearance changes, and whatnot are looped in to that as well. Hearthstone, obviously.
Overwatch.
Yeah, Hearthstone, the card packs, Overwatch loot boxes, brought up by Chris there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Diablo 3 doesn't have any microtransactions that I'm aware of. But then again, it's been a while since I played it. StarCraft 2 also has microtransactions. I don't think StarCraft Remastered does yet. So, yeah. And then, of course, Call of Duty World War II's boxes.
Do they still have the boxes?
I believe so.
Okay.
There's an achievement in the game to watch somebody open a
That's
box.
right.
Whoa.
I remember that. Yeah. That's
Sweet.
beyond screwed up for so many reasons. It really is.
What do you get in the Call of Duty boxes? They give you guns and stuff, or does anyone know?
I didn't play the game. I don't know.
I don't either. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I haven't played it either.
Okay. Anything? Anyone know what the boxes contain? I'm just gonna assume skins or like icons or something.
Yeah, or like
Mm,
what are like the titles? I guess probably would.
Oh,
was
yeah.
probably what they are.
Yeah, the little title cards.
Yeah.
yeah.
Those are.
And that's okay. I mean, that's a dumb thing to get in a box, but whatever.
It's a dumb thing to
Agreed.
watch someone open the box.
It's a pretty cool like animation though. Like it drops from the sky and
Oh,
with a parachute on it. It's pretty gnarly.
I mean
I
that's
spent a lot of time on that animation.
that's how the Allied forces won the beaches of Normandy. You know,
Yeah,
the U.S. just
totally.
kept calling in all these airdrops. Like the U.S. just racked up huge credit card debt.
Just watch Hogan's Heroes, you'll be right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Germany's still paying off their credit card debt to
Yeah.
this day.
Yeah. All right. So, microtransactions are absolutely a huge source of revenue. Apparently, this I'm really want to see like EA's a similar breakdown for like EA or Ubisoft's microtransaction
Yeah, wow.
revenue.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, just to see.
I wonder how
competitors.
Ubisoft's would look, honestly, because they do microtransactions in an interesting kind of way. Because even though they have the like free aspect of the Uplay club and all that, and that kind of like translates
Mm.
across all their games and stuff,
Mm.
Yeah.
but they're never really egregious with it. If you kind
Yeah.
of think about it, like looking at the microtransactions in Assassin's Creed Origins, like they're not really in your face. Like they don't like bash them over your head, like kind of like every corner you see a little icon on the map, like, oh, I have to like pay for that, like in Unity, for instance.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I think they would honestly be around the same ballpark. They'd probably make a ton off of that just
Nope.
from the faith of it.
Yeah. At
'Cause
least
they
percentage
they're
wise.
never weird or like kind of like EA's in Battlefront 2. It doesn't break the progression of the game ever in theirs.
Yeah. As someone who plays a lot of Hearthstone, I can tell you that game is incredibly expensive if you want it to be. Like, there's so many packs of cards that you need to buy, and
Yeah.
I get a legendary every like 40 packs or something. It seems like
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not doing well in the arena, like, which is like they're kind of like you pay 150 gold or $2, and you can gradually get like better rewards the more you win.
Mm.
If you're not doing well in that, I think packs are like
Ooh.
$1 a piece at least.
I think it's like 99 cents for one pack.
It might be like 99 cents or like they're not even. I don't think they sell one pack. I think you have to buy a pack of 3
Okay.
for like $2.
Okay. Yeah. It's been.
Yeah, or you can pay 100 gold for one pack.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't played Hearthstone since the beta, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that game. I play it every day on my phone.
Oh,
But,
okay.
it's just, if you're worried about actually competing in that game, you have to be buying packs like, constantly. I don't really care. I played really crazy decks that are just more for fun, so
Yeah.
I don't really have a problem.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't really had much experience with microtransactions. The only real microtransaction that I've ever really bought is off mobile games, but that's
Okay.
it. Like, I never buy stuff off console games or PC games or anything like that.
See, I'll be honest.
So,
I am kind of guilty of buying Overwatch loot boxes. I'll be honest. It's mostly so I don't play mobile games at all. Like I don't play Clash of Clans, Candy Crush, and none of that. So I don't pay money towards that. But definitely every season of Overwatch, I'll maybe drop $40 or so, maybe 40, 60 bucks, buy like the 30 or 40 loot boxes that gets me, just to get a particular skin for my main hero that I play, which is Mercy. So, yeah. Because
Yeah, I mean,
kind of a
I don't have a
collectionist
problem
there.
with loot boxes. They're definitely like as long as they're done right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be entirely cosmetic, and it
Hmm.
can't be like
pay to
Overwatch
win.
is a good example of it in that regard. And like the rewards you get,
Hmm.
it's all cosmetic, voice
Right.
lines, tags, sprays, stuff like that. So like, I don't think anyone really has an issue with that kind of stuff.
No.
But I
No,
guess
yeah,
how it's presented and how it's implemented into the game and how much of it becomes like a core focus. Like I know Shadow of War towards the end game of that, it really kind of nudges you into
Yeah.
pushing towards like you should buy these loot boxes, otherwise you're not going to be able to get all these defenses up quick enough. You're going to have to spend a lot more time daily. So like I don't know, Overwatch seems to be successful with the loot boxes in that regard because I've bought boxes for skins as well,
Yeah.
and I never really felt the hesitation in that regard. Whereas like looking at something like Shadow of Wars or other kinds of situations, it just kind of screams no for me.
Okay.
Yeah, the most microtransactions I buy are like the ones that I know what I'm getting. Like
Okay.
a couple of months ago, I think I had a few beers and was playing some Street Fighter 5
Uh-oh.
and went to the
Uh-oh.
store and they had a music pack for Street Fighter 2 and I think it was like $5. I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I buying this Street Fighter 2 music pack? But I was like, I had a few beers. I was like, whatever. I don't care. Give me
Screw
that
it.
great music. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
screw it.
yeah.
exactly. And I was like, yeah, they'll get me once in a while for silly things like that. But
Yeah.
other than that,
I did
whatever.
a similar thing for Persona 5. For one of those, I think they released just a bunch of random little extras of personas from past games that you could use in 5. And
Okay.
that was
Mm.
just like,
Oh man.
it was the draw.
That was like that was it. That was it.
Mhm.
Yeah. I wonder if like merchandise related to the series qualifies as to microtransactions to some degree.
I think that more qualifies as merch, you
Okay.
know?
Because like
Like,
I briefly glanced over the paper of the Activision report, and they didn't have a separate category for merch. So
Mhm.
Mm.
that kind of
hmm.
makes me wonder just a little bit type thing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wonder if it's like included into the numbers and how much of that would make a difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, anyway, let's talk about cheating. All right?
Cheating.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
You're all dirty cheaters here. PUBG, which is the game having a horrible, horrible cheating epidemic and plague ravaging the game's life from it, has reportedly banned over 1 million cheaters for the month of January alone.
Wow.
The third-party anti-cheat
Ridiculous.
service BattleEye, which is the same anti-cheat service that Rainbow Six uses, and yeah, pretty much just Rainbow Six uses also.
Mhm.
Ark, Survival Evolved uses that as well.
Arc does it? Okay. I didn't know Arc had anti-cheat, so that's pretty cool. But yeah.
They don't
So
use it nearly as well as PUBG apparently though.
okay. Yeah. BattleEye has allegedly reported or has reported that they allegedly banned 1 million players from PUBG.
It's a
They
lot
did
of
not.
people.
Yeah, they did not go into
In
specifics.
January alone.
Yeah, just in
Yeah,
the month of
Oh, wow.
January.
That's 1 month.
Yeah.
That's baffling.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, that's just absurd how many people are probably like, it reminds me of like old school Counter-Strike source days.
Oh
Yeah.
lord.
Like when you just get headshotted no scope from a guy with an op across the map, just through walls and stuff.
The bullets
It
gotta go
hurts.
somewhere, man. I mean, he'd just be firing off a random op shot from spawn, but bullets gotta go somewhere.
Yeah.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
It hurts, but I'm glad they're doing it. Honestly, that game really did suffer from it early on. I
Yeah.
joined in like when it was still early access, and it was horridly optimized, so like half the time you couldn't even tell if it was like, oh, if that guy cheating or is the game just not
That
working right. I
wonky.
couldn't
Yeah.
tell. But now it's like optimized to the point where it works really well, and I have a better graphics card for it. But like I've experienced significantly less cheating, like significantly less people just sniping me from across the map or spawning on top of the dropping loot boxes and sniping you
I
off
saw
that.
that the other day.
Yeah, like I've seen so much less of weird, funky stuff like that, or people like hiding in the map and stuff like that, which is great.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Some people, and I do partially agree with them, are bringing up the point that, hey, you might have banned 1 million people in January, but that's not enough. And this is actually leading into a slightly bigger controversy. PUBG Corp, obviously the developers of PUBG, has gotten caught up in saying that players are xenophobic for wanting China to be region locked outside of the rest of the world servers. But a lot of people who are calling for the Chinese region lock cite not only do a majority of cheaters come from China, which to be fair, without more like detailed statistics from BattleEye, we don't actually know. And two, a huge communication issue. Like this relates back to, you're spawning in CSGO on Dust 2 or whatever, and you're like, hey guys, what's the strategy? And then, the crazy Russian on the team just starts shouting. Shouting
Kills
Rush
you
B.
with a $700 knife.
Yeah. The Russian with the $700 knife just starts shouting Rush B, and then buys a 9 and goes. So, yes.
I mean, you bring up like the $700 knife, but isn't that the problem? Why there's so many cheaters? People are trying to cheat to like make money through like the Steam market or whatever.
I'm sure there is a component of RMT to PUBG, considering like one of the pre-order coats is worth like $900. So
and there's stuff like that, like some of those cosmetic drops, which are incredibly rare. If you actually go to look at the drop rates for the boxes, it's ridiculous. You're gonna get duplicates. I literally have gotten duplicates, nothing new, since I bought the game in early access.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
Right.
I probably put like 140 hours into it, so like it's really rare to get that kind of stuff, and that's why people are just auctioning it off for so much money. And I'm wondering now if they're cheating for those reasons. So they could cheat, get access to the items, and just.
And you also have to buy keys, right? Like that was a big thing.
It's $2.50 for one key.
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
That's insane.
So, a bit of a probably a stupid question, but what do they call cheating? Like, what do they classify as, you're going to get banned?
No, that's a good question. For sure.
Well, I mean, just based off how the BattleEye system works and everything, it mostly looks for a lot of wall hacking, aim hacking, scripting. I'm not too sure how, like, I haven't played a lot of PUBG. I think I maybe played 6 or 8 hours, so I don't know the intricacies of the movement. I can cite Arma's movement a bit because I played a ton of Arma, and it's the same engine, more or less. But there are certain scripts that you can use to manipulate your movement in kind of ungodly human ways to,
I've seen some pretty good speed hacking on there.
Yeah.
People zipping around.
I imagine mostly does stuff like that. I don't believe BattleEye is a capable enough service or program or tool, or advanced enough tool rather, to be able to detect things like exploiting, which could be deemed cheating, depending on what precedents you want to use. So I think that comes down to player reports and stuff like that. That has to be manually reviewed.
Yeah, there was this, that reminds me of in PUBG, what was that whole thing around where people were like staying idle to farm something? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the rubber band.
Out of the plane and just completely remain idle, and it was for a specific farming purpose, but they ended up banning people for that as well.
Weird.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they are going to start incorporating that, like watching out for people exploiting systems.
Yeah, a similar thing happened to Battlefront 2, actually. They would ban people because, I guess, I forget the exact Battlefront 2 system that this was manipulating, but basically just being in a game earned you a chance to get something. So what people would do is they would put a rubber band on the right stick or the camera stick of the controller, strap it around so that the player is just like constantly moving their camera in circles. And that was enough to get by the whole idle, like kick if idle algorithm.
So see, it's funny because like that
that
brings me back.
Yeah,
like, that's how I raised my athleticism above 100 in Elder Scrolls Oblivion. I'd put a rubber band around the controller and swam into a wall for like 2 hours. Like it reminds me of like those old ways you used to kind of like get around or kind of cheat, pseudo cheat in like single player games. But yeah, it actually becomes like a really big toxic issue. Yep. Speaking of that, I actually kind of want to bring up Siege, Rainbow Six Siege. Speaking of cheating and toxicity and all that stuff, that's a service that, and you said it's also done by BattleEye for at least PC.
Yes.
Is it? Do you know if it's the same on console?
It is the same on console.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. I don't know if people have played it recently. Any of you guys have played online?
I played it last night.
I've been playing a lot recently. I played a couple matches this morning. I'm pretty sure both matches had an absorbent amount of team killing on each side. And I was like, why? Like, why can't we just play this game?
100%. I was actually in some matches before this podcast, and the first round of the first game, we had someone team kill another person, and then the other team, half of them quit, and then the last two team killed each other. So we won the round.
Wow.
And this is something that, like, you know, you'd be like, oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah. I see this like twice a week.
Yeah, I have a similar kind of experience where it's like you can see, oh, you know, someone on the orange team just offed another orange team member. Okay, whatever. Yeah. So, yeah, it's interesting. It really is.
I'm surprised they actually allow that to happen. If you're playing online, how do they? Don't they have like friendly fire on or something?
Yeah, friendly fire is turned on, so you know you can shoot a teammate. Yeah,
fair enough.
I think the biggest workaround for this, and I believe this is the mechanic in Siege also, if you kill someone within the first like seconds of a round, I think the boundary is like 4 or 5, then even though it's not the you kill a teammate threshold, get kicked, because the game has a mechanic where if you kill teammates, although it's on accident or something, like 2 teammates in a round or something, you get kicked.
Yeah.
And so the one way to bypass that is if you kill someone within like the first 4 or 5 seconds of a round, you just automatically get kicked if it's only one person. So
I've also noticed people getting around that by downing their teammates, not killing them, which is really cruel.
Can you do that? Like, I don't even know you could do
that. It's people, the exploits for that game, which is why I bring it up, is like there's a lot of weird little workarounds and a lot of hackers, cheaters, and then a really toxic kind of player base at the same time. Don't get me wrong, there's great people playing Siege, but like,
so I kind of want to contrast that a little bit, because you made kind of a generalized statement of, you know, largely the base is toxic. I mean, I've played the game since release, and I definitely don't view the game's community overall as toxic.
See, and I'd say I just have a different experience. I'd say I picked it up about a year after release, so I guess I've been playing since season 2.
Yeah,
it would be, and I can count on one hand the amount of games where people are actually communicating, are actually like playing the objective, not trying to just solo it like a Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, actually play Siege like a Rainbow Six game, play tactically. I can count on one hand how many times that goes well. In, like a match in a day. Yeah, and maybe it's just there is a huge marked difference in playing ranked and casual.
Yeah.
Also as well.
I mostly play casual, I'll be honest. Yeah.
Ranked, you'll definitely get a lot more people trying. In my experience, like more people will be like into it, more people will like listen to call outs, like if you're spotting on corners, like people will actually use the names of things. Like, people are just more focused, I guess, in that regard. But in casual, half the time, I really feel like a lot of the matches I've experienced, just people trying to, like, get their solo ace.
Huh.
Yeah, and I've been, like, kicked out of games for no reason. Like,
I've been vote kicked just after joining a game.
Yeah.
Like, the 0-0, I just joined, and then they all vote to kick you, and you're like, okay.
I'm like, did you want my character? Like, I picked the wrong character. Like, what do you want? You know, or do you guys being jerks? So,
yeah,
I definitely agree. It's pretty crazy how toxic it can be. And like, I just started playing probably like a month, 2 months ago at the most, and I have never seen any game where some people teabag as much as they do in that game. It's crazy.
Did you ever play Halo 3?
I played a lot of Halo 3, a lot of SOCOM 2.
So did you ever play Halo 3, man?
I did play Halo 3.
Okay.
But even maybe I just didn't notice it back then, or I didn't care because I was like, 14, and I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
But like now that I'm like, I get all upset. I'm like, oh, he's teabagging me, man. That's not cool.
I also have noticed the time range, if that makes sense. Just over like the
Oh, yeah.
later it gets, for me at least, where I live in Colorado, the later it gets, the worse people on Siege are, as in like the more toxic it
Okay,
gets.
yeah,
It tends to escalate
I'll
as
give you
the
that
night
one.
goes on.
I'll give you that one. Like
Like a
later.
game played at 5 p.m. is gonna be probably all right. Game
Yeah.
played at 8.
Oof. Yeah. No, I
never thought
definitely.
about
Also, it's like the average skill level increases the later it gets. I often find.
Oh yeah.
Because it's definitely
That game
like.
has a huge skill ceiling too.
Yeah.
So
Because like it's definitely the people that are up until 8 or 9 type thing have been playing the game probably since 5 and probably play that game since 5 every day or something until that time range. So as opposed to the guy who's just like, oh, I've been crowned out or cranked out around a
I'm a kid
siege.
coming back from school.
Yeah, I'm gonna crank out around a
Yeah.
siege. Yeah. So
that honestly might have a lot to do with it. Like after that, like 5 o'clock, a lot of people getting out of work and getting out of school because I
Yeah.
do encounter a lot of 12-year-olds on Siege, which makes
Oh,
me
yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
Parents, 17 years or older. That's what that M
Oh,
says.
come on. No, actually,
Uh,
this is
yeah,
a fun
go ahead.
fact. Which no, actually, I'm gonna bring that up later in the podcast. Okay, future. We have. I will say a little tease to the audience here. We have a pretty significant topic coming up near the end of the podcast. So yeah, that's definitely something to look forward to. But going back to this conversation here, I don't want to say like your experiences are invalid because I mean I believe you guys. I don't think you're lying to me or anything, right? But I will say that overall, I think in all the time I've been playing the game, I think I've definitely had a much different experience than you guys have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Well,
So
I'd
I'm
say-
glad you had a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that
Like,
you
I
guys had
still
a
keep
I'm
coming
sorry that you
back.
guys had a bad one. Yeah.
yeah.
Like
It's a
I still
fun
keep
game,
coming
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
It's fun. Like it's like a really sick kind of crack that I just can't get enough of. And I just keep putting myself through the ringer almost like in a Dark Souls fashion. And just like watching my teammates shoot each other in the head and then just hoping maybe I'll kill at least 2 people this round.
It's like
Like
this Rainbow Six, the Dark Souls of FPS games.
I feel like it's starting to like turn me into like a mean person. Like I'm just seeing my thermite put like his like little thing on like a normal window, and I'm just like, "Oh, what are you doing?"
Oh yeah, no.
I'm starting to lose my mind a little bit. So I'm like, "Oh, take a step back. I'm becoming what I hate."
It does
Like-
bring out the rage in me more than most other shooters. I will
Yes.
give it that.
Okay.
It's because you just die so quickly. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I played CS:GO once, a bit off the siege topic,
Yeah.
and never again. Never again.
Never again. Oh man.
That was so bad. Yeah.
Counter-Strike's another one of those games with a ridiculously high skill ceiling,
Yeah.
and there are people that play it for like millions of hours, like embarrassingly long
Yeah.
amounts of hours.
Yeah, I will say it's super hard to get into Counter-Strike and to work your way up now, just because you
Oh,
have
yeah.
guys on there that have been playing since Counter-Strike was a mod for Half-Life,
Yeah.
and by large part, a lot of the mechanics have not changed, especially with regards to movement, which may
Hitboxes,
seem
too.
which may seem such like a trivial thing, the movement, but it is actually a huge part of that game. Like getting efficient in movement is pretty much enough to get you up to the next rank level.
Yeah.
Yeah, outside of like aim and whatnot. But yeah,
Well, I don't know if you've ever played on a Australian server, but
can't say that I have.
Steer clear. Steer clear.
Okay,
Yeah.
can't say that I have.
Yeah.
Did they
You
have
get
like?
some bad stuff.
They don't have like filters, so like if you're new, you don't.
Nah.
You just. Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, it tosses you into the ringer.
Yeah, that kind of
Yeah.
sucks.
Valve's new player experience is really horrible for Counter Strike.
Yeah,
I'll be
Dota.
honest.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
that's
As well.
yeah.
Which it makes me sad, but it's pretty obvious that Valve's kind of moved on to being more of a like publisher and a platform
Yeah,
than a game developer, and that crushes my soul because I'll always love Half-Life and yeah, Counter-Strike and Team Fortress, all that. But
Never played Half-Life. Not yet, anyway.
it's worth going back. Black Mesa is a beautiful remaster
Right.
of the
Yeah.
first one on Steam, and it was fully done by one dude, and Valve basically gave him full permission for it.
Oh, okay.
And Half-Life 2 still plays great and looks good, honestly. So yeah, worth a shot.
yeah.
Pretty
It
cheap
also
now,
doesn't
too.
help that Counter Strike started off as a mod for the first Half Life by two dudes who were in college. They were both working on Valve for a time. One of them moved on from Valve, but then the other stayed with Valve the entire time. And eventually they launched CS:GO and everything. And I don't want to say his name because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get the name wrong. I don't want to get the name wrong here. But he recently got suspended and left Valve and had to leave Valve for charges of child abuse.
I
So
think I remember seeing this. Yeah.
yeah, I think it was child
Okay.
abuse or molestation or something like that. So
Hmm.
yeah, maybe not a. It was always kind of slightly reassuring that the original creator of Counter Strike was still on the dev team for CS:GO. So maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Now, if true, obviously, innocent until
Yeah.
proven guilty. But
Giant
if
allegedly
true, that
tech.
would it would put a huge damper on that. Honestly, even for me, like it would be hard for me to port that
Yeah,
brand.
yeah, yeah. So, more FPS news. The big blockbuster shooter coming out this year, Call of Duty, that we all look forward to, of course. I mean, I'm super excited for it, as I am every year, obviously. COD 2018 is Black Ops 4. Yay.
Ooh.
Yay.
Out of all the
Applause.
What
out
do
of
you
all,
think
like,
about the
recent
direction?
ones, I think it's good. Oh, good.
No, you go ahead.
I said out of all the recent entries of Call of Duty between Black Ops and World War II and all the kind of like super future ones, I like Black Ops probably the most.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least like the way the guns feel and stuff.
Mhm.
I hated the story for 3, but whatever. That's not the most reason why I play that game.
I didn't get the story for 3. Maybe I didn't pay enough attention, but like
Oh, it is impossible to understand.
the
No,
ending is
it's not your fault.
okay.
Nothing went over your head.
Okay.
It just didn't make sense.
Okay, I was like,
Yeah.
why am I in Derice all of a sudden? What's going on?
Yeah.
I don't
It was
even know.
bonkers.
Yeah.
In like a bad way though. Like I'd appreciate if it was crazy in like a good way, but it was just so convoluted that I was like, oh boy.
It gave me it made me remember Battlefield 4's single player campaign, which
Which is god awful.
and Omar Michael K. Williams and Omar from The Wire. I mean, like that dude is one of my favorite actors of all time, and it made me so sad to play like a single player shooter with him in it, and it just
Did you play the
awful
Battlefield 3
writing.
single player?
I reviewed
Oh,
Battlefield 4 and I lost my mind on the
Okay.
single player stuff.
Yeah.
Bad.
I think Battlefield 4's campaign made a bit more sense than Battlefield 3's.
Yeah. I will give you that.
Yeah, I think it made more
I
sense,
agree.
but yeah.
I think the last
wasn't much
Call of
better.
Duty.
Yeah.
I think the last Call of Duty that I played was Ghosts, and then I gave up.
Oh, that's
It's a bad one.
Yeah, that was a
I
bad
can't
one to
be
leave
bothered
off
with
of.
the series anymore.
See, my favorite's still Call of Duty 2. I mean,
Okay.
like it still holds a special place in my heart. It's probably like one of the first PC games I ever played.
Okay.
So, like,
Yeah.
Nice.
Nostalgia hat there.
Yeah, I definitely back before I played on PC. I was on Xbox 360 for most of my gaming experience and time and whatnot before building a PC and whatnot. But I would play quite a bit of COD, and the last COD that I actually enjoyed, and I still play it on PC from time to time. There's like a group of like 400 players that you can find every night on Modern Warfare 2, and it's great. It honestly is. It's still a ton of fun. So yeah, that's the last time I really enjoyed Call of Duty. Modern Warfare 3 wasn't bad. I wasn't a huge fan of Black Ops 1, I'll be honest. Yeah. Black
I
Ops
never really got the whole multiplayer online thing for Call of Duty. I usually used to just play it with my brother, and then that was it. Like, never really played online with it.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I got an Xbox to play Modern Warfare 2 online. I remember that. 'Cause,
Nice.
a buddy had that all set up, and then I went over and played it, and it was just like, okay, I
Whoa,
need this.
this is a
I
ton of
need to
fun.
be able to do
Yeah.
this.
And
Yeah,
even
so,
before
no,
that,
I
COD
totally
4.
know what you're talking about. And even like the first Modern Warfare,
Yeah.
and going back to what you're talking about, just playing with like friends sitting next to you, playing shipment together with shotguns. And
Memories.
that stuff was, it's beautiful. It really is.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm definitely, I come from the place of kind of a COD hater in a way, just because like I've been around since the beginning of it, and I'm just kind of hoping they turn the series around. Like,
Okay.
I don't want to hate COD, if that makes sense.
That's fair.
It's
I
made
know
a
how you
series of
feel.
decisions that I don't agree with, and I
Yeah.
have to let it go its separate way.
Yeah.
And so hopefully, I think, honestly, if they learn from all their mistakes with Infinite Warfare and kind of like some of the mistakes they made with Black Ops 3, I really think they could honestly, get back on top.
Okay.
so no one here's played World War II yet.
No.
Correct.
I've played it, but
okay, Chris.
not much.
Okay.
Not much.
I just haven't bought the game. The last COD I bought was Black Ops 3, actually. That was also the last story of COD that I played through. So,
Yep.
yeah. I didn't actually play through Advanced Warfare, though. So, But yeah,
I never even bought Advanced Warfare.
yeah, neither.
Oh, I think I had that for a little bit. It was pretty good. I like the
So was
story
the
in that
one
one.
with the exosuit, like the first one, really?
Yeah.
Before Black Ops 2 kind of got into it, all that.
Yeah, I played it a little bit on. I think Steam had a free weekend for Advanced Warfare back when it came out. And I played a little bit, and I was like, oh, this is just Titanfall. And then I went back to playing Titanfall.
Yeah, that's also a valid point. A lot of they have to steer away from that for Black Ops 4, I think, if they're really gonna be successful, because they can't just copy Titanfall. Because Titanfall 2 was so successful, even though initial sales were kind of screwed by its release
Yeah.
dagger, but people love it. People still play it.
I don't get how they moved away from the Cold War kind of era and then went super modern. Like I never.
So
with Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, I never got that.
It kind of made sense because it was the protagonists of Black Ops 1, like their sons or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it had to take. No, actually, I think the way the time frame would have had to work out would have been. It would have had to been grandchildren. It would have had to been grandchildren.
Yeah.
Just because I can't conceive of a dude who was like maybe 30s in the 70s having a kid when he's 60 in the 2000s. Because anyway, yeah.
The lore
Anyway,
of Black Ops is deep.
huh?
Yeah.
The deep lore.
I know the deep lore. Yeah, I actually think it's grandchildren, but that kind of made sense, and I actually did like the direction Black Ops 2 went in because it was a very grounded, not so distant future. So it focused a lot more on like drones and computers a bit more than the all-out like cybernetics that was Black Ops 3. So yeah. So that's just kind of another topic for this is. Do we think Black Ops 4 is going further in the future than 3? It's coming back. Do we think it's coming back a little bit? Where do we think the time period this is going to be in?
I think they're gonna keep going forward. I don't like, especially with like Call of Duty World War II being out. Like, I feel like they're gonna keep Black Ops in a different direction than I guess like the main line Call of Duty, just to give it that variety. Or at least I would hope they would.
Yeah. Infinite Warfare was pretty far in the future, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there a space between Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare that might be interesting to explore?
No.
I'd like to think so, honestly, in my opinion. Why do you think no, Andrew?
I don't know. I just like you
Anthony,
have like
sorry.
one edge or the other as well, and then when you put something in the middle, it's just kind of funky. Like,
Yeah,
I think
it's
I think
Yeah,
they should go to like maybe like a semi future where it's not quite like maybe like nowadays, but like 5 years or something.
Okay.
Just have like kind of modern, mostly modern stuff because they have done modern since Modern Warfare.
Depends on your definition of modern.
Oh, okay. I think it's Modern Warfare 3 was kind of crazy, wasn't it?
No, it was pretty grounded, but like some could argue Black Ops 2 was a bit modern considering technology now. But yeah, it really depends on your definition of modern.
I think my Discord's frozen for some reason.
I think
it's a small
I
lapse
think
in the connection. It's happening on my end too.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, I think Discord just kind of
had a moment.
Yeah.
Back now.
But,
all right. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. Seeing as they've gone back to World War II with World War II, if they went to Cold War again, I'd be interested. But they've done the future thing. They've done the current time with Modern Warfare. They've done Modern Warfare was fantastic.
Yeah.
But they've done Black Ops 3, which was set in this kind of time, 2020-ish, 2030s. So go back a little bit, I reckon.
Okay.
Muskets in powder balls. That's what I say. Revolutionary War. Bring it.
That'd be really cool,
actually
really enjoy that.
Would be super interested, and this is partially because I did semi-recently play through Metal Gear Solid 3 again. Semi-recently, a couple months ago. Yeah. Where I talked about like the mother and father of special ops in World War II. So maybe if they went kind of that direction, that'd be cool for Black Ops 4. Have like a World War II Black Ops setting.
Sure.
Granted, we did just get World War II.
Yeah, but then it could like kind of like piggyback off it and like kind of stay in line with it in that kind of regard.
Yeah.
Well, they could do after World War II, like the 40s or something, or like 50s, and have it mopping up after World War II. Even could do something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Hunting Nazi war criminals.
Yeah.
I like some like old timey like silly gadgets that actually don't exist. Like that'd be cool if they came up with some like future old timey future stuff. I don't know. That'd be
Yeah.
fun. Play around with it. I don't know. Like Call of Duty is just so established now that I wish they
Mhm.
kind of changed something, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so next topic for the day. So Toad, the Super Mario character Toad. The director for Super Mario Odyssey has confirmed, after being almost harassed by the community for an answer on this subject, that Toad's head is not a hat. His head is actually a mushroom. And maybe there's something inside that mushroom too.
I mean,
Wonder if he listens to Mushroom Head.
It was his brain, probably, wouldn't it be? Like,
I mean, maybe, but why would he just say? Why would he say there's probably something inside there too?
I don't know. That's why I'm confused.
Like, I mean,
now.
what else is he storing in there?
I don't know enough of the anatomy of fungi or fungi. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
Got some snacks in there for later.
yeah, probably. Yeah, so
That's random, but anyway.
It's
This
kind of
was-
weird,
this is-
honestly, to think about it, especially with like the game's focus on hats.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
The-
can you possess any Toad people? I just recently beat it, but I don't really remember.
I don't know, but because I haven't played Odyssey yet. It's on my to-do list. But there was this whole debate started sparking up. I think there was a Reddit thread or something where it was like, it showed a picture of Toad in Odyssey wearing a top hat. It wasn't necessarily Cappy, but it was like Toad wearing a top hat on top of the little mushroom. And so I think the post title went along the lines of, so it's like Toad is wearing two hats. And then the debate started as
Yeah.
to whether or not it was part of Toad's head or whether or not it was a hat. People were citing like the old 90s, early... Yeah, it was definitely old
Super
90s.
Show, yeah.
Yeah, the Super Show where Toad took off the mushroom part and it turned out he had like a really bald head with like 3 twig strands of hair.
Right.
Yeah,
I need to see
And
an
so it was
image of this.
yeah, it was a
There's
hat.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
also a good one during like I think it was like Super Mario Strikers, like where he got electrocuted and he had like a skull and his hat, his like little mushroom was not part
You're
of it. It was,
right.
like, his
Yeah.
skull. Mhm.
Yeah.
Totally right.
It was
And
pretty
so
bad.
people were bringing up all these points of debate and everything. And eventually, I forget the interview where this got brought up, a recent interview with the Super Mario Odyssey director. He responded to the question and confirmed that Toad's like mushroom is part of his head. It's not a hat.
See,
Maybe
that's kind of
like a-
great.
Maybe he's like a poison mushroom or something, and he's got gas or something, and he's I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean,
that's weird for me.
I mean, did
It's
did
I just
Nintendo?
find it pleasant news, just
Yeah.
because, like, especially going back to like the Activision's $1 billion revenue from microtransactions, and then
Yeah.
guess what? Toad's head is a mushroom.
Hey, by the way, guys. Yeah.
It's news that's much happier to read
Yeah.
about than that.
Yeah. So did Nintendo just retcon the anatomy of Toad a little bit? Because up to this point, we've only
Yeah.
been led to believe that Toad was wearing a hat, and now all of a sudden it's part of his head.
Let them do what
I
they
guess
want.
so.
Yeah.
As long as they never make Link talk in like that awful animated series. Hello, princess.
Excuse me, princess.
Oh yeah, that's the line. You got it. Yeah, no, it's.
I mean,
Oh.
it makes sense for toads. Like there's like a lot of toads. Like to think about every toad putting on like the same hat every day, like each one of them, is just absurd. You know, like they're all
That
putting the
makes
same.
it like a weird little cult.
Yeah,
So-
they're all cold or something, right? Same little vest, same diaper, or whatever that is they have on, and the same hat.
So
Different
like,
colors.
do you think they have like 7 hats that are all the same, or do you think
Maybe the color signifies their hierarchy within the Toad community.
the Toad caste system?
Yeah.
Yeah. The elders have the little brown caps. The commoners have
Even Mario cannot escape the confines of the class system.
yeah. The red ones are like the workers. The yellow ones are slightly higher than workers. I don't think we ever. Maybe the blue ones are like the really poor ones. I don't know.
I mean,
There might be
all-
some logic here.
all
Yeah.
toads are created equal to me.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I really want to know the caste level of the Toad that kept telling me my princess was in another castle, because they can all just go. Honestly.
Honestly, this is a big spoiler in some ways, but I'm just gonna say the end of Super Mario Odyssey trumps a lot of convention that I'm really proud of.
Okay.
That's awesome, especially for a Japanese developer, which they've been kind of stuck in tropes of women in video games for a while. But yeah, go for it. It's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really enjoy it.
Okay.
I found it a little lazy, but I feel where you're coming from.
Yeah, like it's definitely not all the way, but it's
Yeah,
step
yeah.
in the right direction.
For sure.
Interesting. I
Interesting.
really want to know now. Huh. Anyway.
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube it is. Odyssey ending. No, probably not. I'll probably just play through it at some point.
It's not very long if
Nah.
like story wise.
Oh, okay. I
There's
thought it.
tons of stuff to do, but it's not
Yeah.
like a terribly long game to just like plow through.
Oh,
I think I
okay.
beat it in like 12. Like it's all credits by like 12 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe less.
Oh, okay. That's doable.
Yeah.
If you wanted to really put the depth into it, you could get like hundreds for sure. But
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, a little bit more serious news. Blue Point, which are the developers of the recently remastered Shadow of the Colossus, which is a fantastic game by all accounts, from what I've heard, and the remastered series of the Nathan Drake collection. Has announced, well, semi-announced, has posted career openings to go work at Blue Point for a new project they're already starting. This is leading many people to believe that it's going to be another remaster, also partially due to the project text containing, hey, yeah, this is another like revive or remaster of a game. And so, what game do we think it is?
Is there any indications on like the hiring area, like on like graphic artists with experience in something? Or,
No,
like,
no.
I wonder though, because I mean that the Shadow of the Colossus remake is brilliant, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they've done a lot of good work.
Stuff.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blue
They
Point's
added new
awesome.
stuff in a tasteful way that didn't break the game or like, make like a bunch of weird extra content.
So it's like
And-
Wind Waker HD.
Yeah, exactly. I have faith in them being able to release a good remaster. I
Yeah.
just wonder what would be worth remastering, Like I honestly I would hope to God it is a collection of Metal Gear Solid with that would include Twin Snakes, the GBA or not GBA, GameCube remaster, the first one, just because
Okay.
like we've seen remasters of 2 and 3,
Yeah.
all that multiple times and stuff like that, or multiple editions, but
Okay.
we've never seen another redo of Twin Snakes.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And I think they worked on the remaster of 2 and 3, if I
Did
remember
they?
correctly. I
Did they?
think
Okay.
so. I think they were the ones who ported it over. I could be
Okay.
wrong. But
I will say I did not think of the Metal Gear Solid idea until you brought it up just now, because it fairly recently got, I don't want to say a remaster, but like an HD port to PS3, I think in like 2012 or so. So it's definitely, yeah.
And I almost think they like, I mean, depending on Konami,
Yeah.
whatever their direction is nowadays, but like, there's still people playing Metal Gear Solid 5 and still talking
Right.
about it. And I guess Metal Gear as a brand under Konami is still alive because Metal Gear Survive is coming out.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they would try to kind of like ride off that steam.
We
and try and,
actually
like,
just now got our final piece of like incomplete missing content from Metal Gear Solid 5. And
the
without
nukes.
without going into spoilers, because if you haven't played through Metal Gear Solid 5, you definitely should. It's a great game.
Correct.
This requirement required everyone to disarm themselves of nuclear weapons on their bases. And so, yeah, because that gets into a much longer discussion about Kojima's beliefs about nuclear weapons and whatnot. That's kind of out of the scope of this topic. But, yeah, and so that's probably not going to happen, just considering the amount of people that have like gone AWOL from the game without really caring or coming back to do it type thing. So I mean, this would be a massive, huge feat to accomplish organically. A bug triggered the cutscene.
Cool.
To play for people, and so we were able to finally get that missing piece of content.
oh, that's fun.
Yeah,
Like at least we get to see it.
yeah.
I wonder if they coded in a bug to like auto release it, like intentionally left it in there, just because like I mean his whole time Kojima's whole time working with Konami, he kind of knew for Metal Gear Solid 5 that his relationship was done.
Yeah.
So I wonder, I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, he's a cryptic dude.
Yeah.
And he loves doing stuff like that. So like,
Yep.
it could be an intentional bug, but
Just a time bomb that
it
took
could also just
3 years to go off. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, that's that's that news. So you brought up Metal Gear Solid. Andrew, what would you like to see them remaster?
There's too many games just to like even like fathom like which one it could possibly be.
Okay.
I don't know personally. Because I wonder, because they're doing a lot of work with Sony, if it's going to be just a Sony thing, or what it's going to be exactly. Because I think they helped out with. Did they do the Crash Bandicoot one as well?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No.
I wonder.
Okay.
They could do an old Ace Combat. Bring back one of the original Ace Combats.
Yes.
That'd be cool.
I would love that.
That'd be
Ace
cool.
Combat 7, whenever that comes out.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay. I would like to. Yeah, I would definitely like to see 5 or 0 maybe brought up, or maybe no. Honestly, just do an entire collection, because like they had, what is it called? It was something that came. It was something that came out of. It was something that came out of, or just after Ace Combat 5. I think it was on a PSP or something. I forget the exact name of it.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It had.
Yeah.
It had one of the characters from Ace Combat 5 in it, even though just sort of as like an Easter egg or a tell type thing, not necessarily continuing Ace Combat 5. So maybe bringing some of that portable game onto console would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd be down with that.
Definitely. Or Donkey Kong 64.
But like, I feel like it'd be cool to, just in the name of like timing and everything, I feel like it'd be cool to drop this before Ace Combat 7. I mean, we're getting Ace Combat 7 later this year. And so...
They might even include it in, like, they might do a special edition and...
Yeah, pre-order.
Ace Combat 7, yeah.
Okay.
Microtransactions.
Yay! We've gone full circle.
Honestly, I think they're going to be here to stay, but
Yeah.
it's not going to be for the worse. It'll get regulated. Things will... looking up.
Things will settle down. We got a guy in the chat saying, wasn't Metal Gear Solid 5 better without Kojima? Well, 1, fight me. 2,
I got on that guy's point, honestly, man, Metal Gear Solid isn't Metal Gear Solid without Kojima, just because he brings a lot of weird charm to the series. And yeah, we all know the dude needs an editor. They're hour-and-a-half long cutscenes in Guns of the Patriots.
Yeah.
Some of those, that was just excessive. Come on.
Yeah.
So, like, I get where you're coming from, for sure, but, like, playing Metal Gear without all of the Kojima weirdness added in, it wouldn't be Metal Gear. It would be just a generic stealth shooter.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see... I'm not going to use Survive as Judgment, but I definitely want to use, like, a Metal Gear Solid 6 without Kojima as Judgment.
Yeah, like an actual canon type thing.
Yeah.
And, like, on their own, see where it goes.
Yeah, the one...
Like, I'd be down.
The one faith that I would still have in that series is, I guess, Kojima's longtime, like, programming... He was mostly a technical partner and everything, who worked with him with a lot of stuff almost since the beginning, is still at Konami, and was the primary developer, like, head dude for Survive. So I would still partially have faith, considering how close this dude was to Kojima and everything, for a Metal Gear Solid 6, but, yeah.
Yeah, and, like, Survive, like, it's not like it looks to be a bad game or anything. Like, it looks to control incredibly well. It's still using the Fox engine.
Yeah.
That thing is incredibly cool with stuff it can do. And, like, the concept's still really cool, and people are having fun playing it. So, like,
Yeah.
hopefully it does allow them to move forward with Metal Gear without Kojima. Because I don't want that series to die. If it does, then it had a good run. But, you know, I would like to see it go on and change into something new, especially like a Metal Gear 6.
Yeah. Okay. Anthony, what would you like to see brought, remastered?
As in remastered, or?
Yeah, by Blue Point. Like, what do you think?
I said Ace Combat.
Oh, okay. That was. I'm sorry, Andrew. I'm sorry, Andrew. Yeah.
Like I said earlier, I don't really know, but Chris brings up a good point with like Metal Gear Solid 4. That game's like trapped on the PS3, so
It is.
If that gets ported over, kind of like updated, because it's already in HD, I guess.
Yeah.
But like updated with way shorter loading time, so I'm not sitting there watching Snake smoke a cigarette for half an hour. Or that'd be cool. I mean, I haven't played that game since 2009 or whenever it came out, so
yeah. All right.
Or even Donkey Kong 64, but they probably won't do that.
No.
Nintendo
That's
seems
like
to.
hoping.
No, this is
Nintendo has a grip on remasters and the idea of it,
Yeah.
just like with an iron hold,
Mhm.
and it doesn't seem like, and they're not like the friendliest in the regard of like, oh, you're remaking our game for us by yourself for free. Go ahead, like you're free to do it. They usually shut those down, so
yeah.
I don't think any Nintendo projects, honestly,
No, the
would be a
caveat
good
for
thing to
this,
expect.
based on the precedents we have for Blue Point, the caveat we have for this is that it's like a game from Sony's history type thing.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
mean, obviously it's going to be Parappa the Rappa.
Well, they did that already.
I mean,
they
it'd
did.
Did they?
Not
No.
Blue Point, but somebody
No.
did.
Yeah, someone already did.
Oh no.
I was actually thinking it could be Jack and Daxter.
That was my first
That could be a
idea,
good
but then
one.
after hearing all your ideas, I liked all your ideas a lot better than my idea of Jack and Daxter. So, even though,
SOCOM 2
I will-
remastered. All right.
Oh,
all right,
if they brought SOCOM back.
all right,
Mm.
I feel like theoretically I want that so bad, but then I'm gonna play it and be like, oh,
you're gonna
wait,
get teabagged again, dude.
it's not
See,
good.
I got that feel from Ghost Recon Wildlands, but
Yeah.
honestly, and I have to agree with pretty much every video game critic on this, the operator dialogue ruined everything for me.
Okay, I did not.
They literally
play
drop an
Wildlands.
F-bomb like every sentence.
Oh yeah.
And
Lord.
they can't, every time they spot one person, tango fucking spotted. Just small group of tangos, even if you're looking at a group of like 50 people.
Yeah. Their language is. I mean, I
So
hope
would
our
like
military doesn't talk
SOCOM remaster. Yeah.
bad.
doesn't
Yeah,
have
SOCOM would be very silly remastering it. But that's just me being nostalgic.
Well, I mean, the multiplayer aspect, if they brought that back, would be huge. I remember like back when G4 TV existed.
Yes. Yes.
When they used to do like tournaments, like back Attack of the Show, all that stuff. And they used to do like tournaments for games and stuff, and people would be like doing tournaments, like plays of SOCOM 2 on their PS2s, like all in a room together. Like
Yeah.
I would be down for that to come back.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I just feel like after you play like one round, you're like, oh right, the movement is just not great, and yeah.
They'd have to modernize it a lot.
Yeah.
I
It
miss.
Definitely.
So
I
It would
miss-
be more like the more recent Shadow of the Colossus. It would be like a rebuild from the
Okay.
ground up instead of a remake if they were going to do that, because it's just too dated. PS2,
Yeah.
you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, too far back.
Kind of off topic, but they were saying that they were going to bring Crash Bandicoot to the Switch.
Ooh.
Did
Really?
anyone hear that?
I didn't hear that.
No. No.
That's interesting, because that's Crash is like a Sony
Yeah.
Sony thing?
mascot
Is
almost.
it on?
That was rumored anyway.
Is it on Xbox yet? Or I know it. No, it's not.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't think it would go to Xbox because of
No,
that.
it's not.
The whole
Yeah.
Sony partnership. But if
I mean,
it
at
goes
least
to
Nintendo and
Nintendo,
Sony are in the same country, at least with each other.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
yeah.
if
I mean,
it goes
their
to Nintendo,
headquarters-
that could open up a lot of doors. Yeah.
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 It's just a short
That's
train ride
the
away.
new. That's the HD remake. They're saying they're going to
Mhm.
take it to port it to the Switch.
Like the Mayhem Collection or
yes.
whatever it's called.
Hey, what?
Yeah.
Insane Edition.
Yeah.
Insane or whatever. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
If you haven't played it, if you love Crash Bandicoot, play that game. It's brilliant.
Okay. Well, I was going to bring up one more thing. I can't quite remember what it is now, but that's fine. So I hope whatever it is, it's cool.
Yep.
That's all I will say.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I
better
think
be
it
cool.
will. They have a good track record.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't think they've
Definitely.
made a bad game or a bad port.
Yeah, entirely.
Yeah. So, next topic is Metroid Prime 4 allegedly being developed by Bandai Namco. This is both a blessing and a curse, because let me preface this by saying Bandai Namco has brought us great games, or at least helped develop great games, like Dark Souls and Ace Combat also. But Bandai Namco also helped develop Other M, which is an abomination. So...
I want to have faith.
Yeah.
And maybe this is just because like I'm so happy they finally brought like Gundam back to the States and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like I want to have faith. If they keep it along the lines of that like GameCube Wii trilogy type thing,
Yeah.
Yep.
it's gonna
That'd be
knock it out of the park. If they keep it in that direction and like obviously, bring it up to modern standards, like gameplay design, like I think it's gonna be one of the best selling games on Switch if they pull it off right.
Oh, yeah.
Easy.
Because, like, one of the advantages that Prime 3 had was that it sold really well to a North American audience.
hmm
So they can definitely bump up Switch revenue from North America just by having Prime 4 on the Switch already,
Yeah.
or assuming it's received as well.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the Switch like the fastest selling console in U.S. history
It was, but
recently?
I'm saying
I
it's
think
like
so, yeah.
they could
Yeah, so
get to the market a little bit more here too.
yeah,
Mm.
and I definitely think Metroid, honestly, I think more people know Metroid from the side scroller, but I
Yeah.
will honestly tell you I've met more people who played Metroid Prime. So you're totally right in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, was it? Oh yeah. And also another note to this is that none of the developers that worked on the original Prime series are doing Prime 4.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So Bandai Namco
Mm.
never got anyone from Retro Studios over to them to do Prime 4.
Okay. So,
So
it might be
that's
completely different.
yeah.
I mean,
that
Different
is
formula.
disconcerting.
Okay.
it's been long enough. Could be a fresh take on the series, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
might
they
be good.
could God of War
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that actually? I'm sorry, this is completely off topic, but is that actually what's happening with God of War? They're retconning
Yeah.
the whole Greek
Well,
thing.
Yeah.
it's technically a complete continuation, and
Mhm.
I remember I was talking with someone about it, and they're like, "Oh no, it's not the same Kratos. They're just like reimagining it." And I was like, "No, you can actually see all the scars he gets from the past games." And they've confirmed it basically. That he's
So
just moving on to different pantheons of gods, basically.
Yeah.
I like this idea of like him being like the
What
Doom killer, but like for gods.
what's his
Yeah,
motivation
basically, and that's
for the Norse
it's a
ones?
cool
Yeah.
creative take. And I'm glad they didn't go with Egypt, even though it would have been cool.
That'd have been cool.
Because Assassin's Creed and that it would have created there's already a bit too many Viking centric games. It's a bit saturated at the point, but
Yeah.
I feel like Egypt is going to be that next thing. If
Okay.
that makes
Cool.
sense.
Yep.
Hmm.
Wait, so what's Kratos' motivation to kill the Norse gods? Because like at least with the Greek ones, it was just they murdered his family.
I don't think we know yet. Yeah.
We
Okay.
don't know. We
Okay.
do know that his son is Atreus,
Yeah.
is a Greek name.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
do know those aspects, but other than that, other than just being angry dad now, we have no other motivation.
And
Yeah.
because of this latest God of War just being entitled God of War and not like God of War 4 or like God of War Viking Edition or something like that, this latest addition to the series will forever be deemed Dad of War.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
a good name.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm down with it.
Yeah. Anyway.
I like playing angry dads in video games. It's cathartic.
Yeah, so anyway, hopes up for Metroid Prime 4, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, honestly,
sure.
Don't pull another M, please.
it's easily one of the best game series Nintendo has, and it's been significantly absent for multiple console generation cycles. And like, if it does come out, it's on a handheld, which like cool. Then what was it? Samus Returns? Is
Yeah.
that what it called? The most recent one. That one's
Yeah.
apparently great, and like,
It is.
yeah,
Yep.
no beef with it, but that's not really what any of us were asking for. You know,
No.
like we're all wanting Prime. We all want
Yeah.
Prime 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Proper
that makes me
console.
wonder if they're not going to reboot it or take it in their own direction because they did choose to keep it with the numerical continuation.
Not going to spoil
Okay.
anything, but based on the ending or based on the story developments in Prime Federation Force, which was
Oh
which-
man.
Yeah.
based on the very brief like story tidbits we got in there, and based off the very ending cutscene of Metroid Prime 3, it will probably continue
Mhm.
the Prime timeline. Yeah. So
Yeah. Cool with that.
It's a long time to continue a story, but all right.
all right. Yeah.
I mean, games have been in development for like 10 years and still pop it out like Neo, so like Owlboy even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I'm glad that it's happening.
The real
Yeah,
question
please.
is what they're actually going to do with the Metroid timeline now. Because they've talked about how maybe Prime 4 is its own timeline, but then they've also gone back to, oh no, Prime 4 is in the like timeline for everything else. But they've also talked about removing Other M from the timeline into its own timeline. So
Oh, please.
yeah.
Didn't
So-
Other M have one of the dude? I cannot remember his name, but he's like the really big influential dude for Ninja Gaiden and Dead or
Oh
Alive.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Oddly enough,
It's
he,
just
he
Team
was one of the
Ninja.
creative directors. I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, Team Ninja worked on Other M. That's why you kind of have like the Ninja Gaiden-esque gameplay onto it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so looking forward to that, and then played it, and it was a letdown.
A little going back a little bit. That just brought idea up here.
Yeah.
I would love to see a Ninja Gaiden remaster. Absolutely love
true.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, give or take the third one and
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden Yaiba or whatever. Include them if you want, but
Didn't they just release one a couple of years back?
yeah, that's the Ninja Gaiden Yaiba Z or whatever. You like fighting zombies and
Yeah.
it's all like
Mhm.
cartoony graphics art style.
Weird.
Doesn't
Like
count.
don't get me
Doesn't
wrong,
count.
like I'm fine when games do that, like shift to that style. I like it.
Yeah.
But when you do it to an already established game, it
Mm.
bothers me to no extent. A good example, The Darkness, and then The Darkness 2. Like
Okay.
different developers, and then they entirely changed it. Starbreeze Studios did The Darkness, guys behind the Chronicles of Riddick games and
Yeah.
like
Payday.
stuff like that. Yeah, and Payday more recently. But like
Yep.
handed it off to a new developer for the sequel, and they completely, like changed everything, made it almost look like a comic book, and like so hopefully whatever Blue Point's doing, they don't do anything like that.
Yeah. All right. So this is the big topic of the day, guys. Australia banning child abuse in gaming. I'm gonna let Anthony take this one off because he's our resident kangaroo here.
Yep, totally.
So-
So basically, there's a petition going around on change.org. They're saying that they're wanting to stop video games depicting child abuse being sold in Australia. So basically, any game like GTA or basically anything where you can go around and harm kids or whatever. They're picking on Detroit Became Human, which is an upcoming PS4 game.
Mhm.
And the whole reason for this is they're saying that you can not partake, but you can stand by and watch one of the characters do like commit child abuse kind of thing. So the massive petition, 28,000 or probably 30,000 now because I haven't refreshed it for a while. 30,000 people have signed this petition to try and get rid of this game being sold in Australia. We've had quite a few issues with games getting banned and stuff happening, like Saints Row 4, I think,
Yeah.
got banned here for 6 months. I think it was banned, and then they finally released it. So it's an interesting topic. What do you guys think on it?
Is there even child abuse in GTA? I can't think of.
No, but like you can you?
Possible.
Is
Yeah,
it?
they've been.
Okay.
It's possible.
Could
Yeah.
be
They're-
somewhere in
yeah.
there.
Harassment maybe, but yeah.
Yeah.
What's their definition of child abuse? Like, are they qualifying child abuse as me swinging my great axe at Braith and Whiterun a few times, or
See,
should
yeah,
I
that's
die?
that's a good question because I
Yeah.
wonder if they're really just focusing on it in a domestic abuse situation like father-daughter or
Yeah.
in that kind of situation. But yeah, no, I have some, I guess, strong opinions on this. On one hand,
Yeah.
I entirely see where they're coming from because like
Yeah.
in that virtual sphere, especially because like I said earlier, with a bunch of 12-year-olds playing Siege, people that rating isn't necessarily gonna,
Mhm.
stick true to the audience 100%. So
And this
people
brings up what I
might
want to
be
bring
too
up
young.
earlier, is that games don't technically need to be rated to be published and sold
Yeah,
Yeah.
by the
exactly.
ESRB. Yeah, so
And so like it's gonna have tons of different people watching it, and yeah, there's gonna be some younger people who probably shouldn't be playing it, who are going to be impressionable, and this might affect them the wrong way. But at the
Yep.
same time, and this also brings up some murky waters with the whole Quantic Dreams situation with David Cage and what's going on with that. So obviously, I can't quite comment on that because the studio might be under investigation for sexual harassment, other
Yeah.
stuff
Mhm.
which if obviously it's going to derail the whole thing. But I don't think banning the depictions of abuse works because video games are art in a way. I mean, yeah, you could argue that it's just an entertainment source of something else, but I would argue that it is art, and restricting that artistic expression, even for somebody who has gone through domestic abuse or was abused as a child and used video games as a platform to express how they felt about their abuse or to illustrate like maybe even what happened or use it as some sort of cathartic thing as art
yeah.
to express or heal from it. And I feel
Exposure
like
therapy is a thing.
yeah, and I feel like banning that it's a slippery slope
Hmm.
entirely. But B, it's really gonna limit a lot of people's ability to tell their experiences.
Yeah.
more than
Yeah.
anything.
I
I
agree. I agree a lot with Chris, and I also want to bring up that so if we prevent people from like seeing the sort of thing, it's sort of because I mean, child abuse is a very real thing that happens.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean that's a very real thing that happens. A lot of topics that video games cover, like the first example coming to my head right now is Spec Ops: The Line and war crimes and everything. That is also a very real thing that
Right.
happens. So I mean, to want to ban certain aspects of media, whether it's video games, which I think we're all of the opinion here is art or in movies or something, wanting to ban certain aspects of the real world just to protect people, I think it provides
Yeah.
more of a disconnect to reality. And I think it doesn't help these issues by not seeing them.
hmm
And
Correct. Brushing
by-
it under the rug doesn't solve
Yeah.
anything.
Right,
Art
exactly.
imitates art imitates life, and
Yeah.
so to cut out those parts of it, the nasty, ugly parts.
So
I
just
mean,
a little
yeah.
bit more in depth. The person who's done this, the psychologist who has made up this petition, has used language like calling the game filth,
Hmm.
and shame on Sony for allowing the release of such filth. So it's the guy
Okay.
who's done it is pretty strong on the issue.
Yeah, Rebecca Barb, I think, started this petition. Federal Minister of Social Services and Han Christian Porter.
Which, okay, we have to legally say this here. Do not go and like harass her, hunt her down. We fully
Leave this
discourage
alone
you
entirely.
and disavow you from, harassing her on the internet. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People
just
have a difference
simply-
of opinion. You're
Yeah.
allowed to
We
voice
simply
it.
disagree with her opinion.
Totally
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
So
And,
anyway,
I mean, 28,
If anything, it
28,
just sparks discussion, and that's all it should do. You shouldn't
Yeah.
be vitriolic and going after this one. I'm sure
Yeah.
she's done nothing to anyone personally.
So they're basically calling child abuse being able to sit down on a game, not commit it, but watch it happen. So anything that involves kids getting beaten up or whatever by their parents. So yeah, it's they don't really refine it. It's a very broad topic.
I think
Yeah.
I mean, there might be a little bit more information about it out there somewhere, but not in this petition anyway.
so. Ever since I think we got the reveal trailer for Detroit Become Human at this past E3, or it was maybe some other game, or maybe it was like Paris Game Show or something like that. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's besides the point. And ever since I saw the trailer for it, I knew. I hate to use the term edgy, but that's really the best description. It's like you instantly knew, okay, this is going to be one of those edgy, tackle some social issues game type thing. And so, I mean, this definitely isn't out of the scope for that game to cover. And, okay, so granted our experience at Rainbow Six, we know that there are going to be people under the age of what the game is officially rated for playing this. And I think developers, when developing a game, do have this in mind to some degree. But to me, at least in my opinion, if you're maybe a 12 or 13-year-old kid playing Detroit Become Human or something, and it's like, maybe this could be your first exposure to this sort of situation. And I mean, in some ways, it can be better if you're exposed to it in what is ultimately a fake medium type thing, so you can better act in the real world, depending, like if you're ever faced with that situation.
Yeah.
Yep, just so you can have an idea how to react to it. That's my
Definitely.
Yeah,
I
that's-
definitely see where you're coming from.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, it's a real thing. Like now it's kind of besides the point where if Detroit's going to actually handle this, child abuse thing well or not. I don't know how much I trust David Cage to take something like serious this and do well with it.
Yeah.
We'll see how that ends up, working out for him. But
Yeah.
it's bringing awareness to something that's, like we said, real and happens every day probably. So, that's always good. I mean, so we'll have to see, like, banning it is just like, oh no, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, it's a little silly to me that, that we can try to ban something like that. Especially when it probably happens in movies all the time. And
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many weird art house films I've seen with stuff that's just like, like how the hell did you pay somebody to act this out?
yeah.
Honestly, it's not like mediums haven't done this before or even gone through this exact same battle. I think video games are just kind of new to the fold in that
Right.
regard.
Yeah, they're picking on it because it's interactive. You can do it if you want to, basically.
And it is a good point because it does bring up that whole I get the effect they're going for. It is like, are you going to sit here and be a bystander? But
Yeah.
Yeah.
it does make it tricky giving it that option. I wonder if they'll include, if they don't entirely end up cutting it or whatever from Backlash, I hope they'll include an option for people that do not like this at all to skip it, like the sequence, spoiler, when you
Yeah.
cut off your finger in Heavy Rain. So like,
Oh
no
yeah.
Russian kind of
Or
thing.
yeah,
Or
I was
yeah, I
about
was
to
gonna
bring
say
up
no
No Russian
Russian.
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, okay, so because Modern Warfare 2 did the thing where it's like, okay, this game has a certain level that we consistently hit of violence, but it's nothing more than like military people shooting other military people type thing. But then there's this one scene which will give you the like chance to opt out of that's beyond the norm, like the scope of the rest of the game.
Right.
So it's like if you want to see that, it's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Or
maybe
even GTA 5, that torture scene that I had.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
and these
didn't-
scenes, these scenes are supposed to make you uncomfortable. It's supposed to make you like, not feel good. And not everything it needs to be feel good or, even
Yeah.
just normal. Like these it makes your skin crawl, and that's like the point of the scene, hopefully. And if it does its job, then
Yeah.
it does its job.
it's like good media should make you feel something,
Yeah,
whether it's discomfort, horror, dread, something. It really
I
should.
think the bottom line though is, I mean, people who are the victims of child abuse, the abused, actually are going to have to be the ones that are the deciding factors on it,
Yeah.
because it relates to them and is about, in essence, them or situations they may have gone through.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
until we hear more of voices from that perspective, obviously not just trying to force people to come out and just talk
Right.
about their past experiences of abuse if you're not comfortable, but
Yeah.
unless you get people talking from that perspective, it's just going to be a bunch of people arguing about whether or not you can imitate that art.
Mm.
And
Yep.
so I feel like that voice is sorely missing in that debate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So kind of a similar topic moving on is that there seems to be a sort of sudden like think of the children almost virtue signaling happening right now because
Yeah.
Reddit this past week out redefined a couple of their rules which sound decent in theory, but then if you take a little bit more of a okay, well, does it hold up in court stance type thing to it, the rules like have been changed and phrased in a way to not only give more precedence for the admins to ban a subreddit, which to be fair is completely within their bounds to do because they are the admins of the site, but it just provides a little bit more of a legal grounds backing for it, so to speak.
Yep.
But basically, the rules as they could be interpreted now and could be implemented now, it's basically any piece of content that's submitted that deals with a prepubescent child, or not even a prepubescent child, an underage child that doesn't have to be prepubescent, can be
So,
considered
like minor.
yeah, it could be
basically.
banned. Yeah.
But then that kind of depends on the individual countries. Like here, for instance, some states here, you're classified as an adult when you're 17.
Yeah.
In some states, you can get your license. Like over there, I think you get your license when you're 16 in America.
Around there.
You get your L's here when you're 16. And then you got to go to your P's and then your full license. So it's a bit of a
Right.
technical thing. But some countries they classify adult as 17, 16.
But, okay.
So it's
The part that I need to add on to it is its depiction. The explicit word used is depiction of minors,
yeah,
which or people that look to be a minor, which can be quite simply said. Women. The point that's being brought up, it's like, so wait, there are entire subreddits dedicated to pornography about women with flatter features. So, are they not allowed to? Yeah, are they not allowed to post, even though they're adults and whatnot, or stuff like that? And then, the discussion branched off from that into, the anime communities and whatnot, and how, in certain anime series, there are teenagers that look like adults, but then there are adults that look like young people.
Yeah, but that gets a bit problematic, especially with like Japan's
Yeah.
obscenity laws are some of the weirdest
Mm-hmm.
in the world, in the regard of that you can almost show anything but sexual content unless it's animated or drawn.
Right.
I mean, if you didn't know this, the whole reason of the tentacle things in hentai was literally just because they weren't allowed to draw male genitalia.
Yeah.
So like as gross it is and weird as it is, it does have an actual
Reason for it and whatnot.
reason
Yeah.
for as to why it went to that path and why that repressiveness is there in that regard. But yeah, the
yeah.
depiction, it becomes problematic, like you did say with anime, because
Yeah.
how many 15, 16-year-olds in an anime look like they could easily be like 24, 25
Yeah.
in that kind of situation? And it goes down to that same depiction of children in games as well. There's a very fine line. And
Yeah.
you don't see them picking the younger adult type as much, and if they do, it's always like early 20s or like past being a minor type situation,
Yeah.
or they go for the other end of the spectrum of like 12 and under or 14
Right.
and under.
Again, heavy rain kind of comes into the play there.
Yeah.
Because like we
I
don't
mean,
really.
also
Go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, keep going.
This also this kind of just seems like something that Reddit is doing to help them like legally. Like there's so many different subreddits on there. That's hard for them to keep track of exactly what's happening. So
Right.
something does inappropriate get put up there, they don't want to be liable and all that stuff. So
Right.
Yeah.
But
They don't make
they've never
sense.
technically been liable. They've never
Oh, okay.
technically been liable in the past for issues like this. This was
Mhm.
mostly recently. There was the entire context of this real change was the admins banned a subreddit called Deep Fates, which it's very inappropriate to get into on
Mhm.
this show about what that entire subreddit was about.
Sure.
But they banned it. There was a minor outrage over that community, from that community, and so they re-clarified their rules, saying to restructure it as if, hey, yeah, it's now part of the rules type thing. We have the technical legal backing to do this to you guys now. It wasn't just us being power hungry type
Totally.
thing.
Yeah.
So that was the primary reason they did it. But then the way that they did it probably wasn't worded the best way, because depiction, okay, they also added in this qualifies as text too, which means under this rule you technically couldn't post like a Harry Potter fan fiction or something, because the subject matter is dealing with minor people or people that are minors.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely a fine line depicting children in video games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot more of the safe route
Mhm.
than the other, and I'm not saying I want to see more child abuse in video games, far from it.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if you are going to include scenes or moments like that, it needs to be done tactfully.
Right.
And you also need to make sure that the person behind those scenes doesn't have, histories of abuse or
Right.
stuff like that. Like, I feel like honestly, the David Cage situation is really going to bring a lot into this. However that plays out, it's really going to change the discussion of this game and the depiction of child abuse or abuse in general.
Mhm. And yeah, the abuse, or it's like with more touchier subjects in games, so it can range from child abuse to say PTSD or something.
Even rape.
Yeah, and
They
rape too.
talk about
yeah. It needs to be done like within appropriate context of the game. Like it needs to make sense in the game, or it
Yeah,
has to
definitely.
have like it has to.
The second it ever feels gratuitous,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
needs to go.
Yeah.
Like I can imagine, just based on what I know from Detroit Beyond Human, the child abuse scene is probably didn't come down. You're the android maid or whatever watching
Yeah.
the abusive father, and it's like, are you gonna, stop it? type
Stop
thing?
it or
Yeah.
let it happen.
And
Mhm.
Even the scene where the guy's on the edge of the building and he's holding the kid and he's by
Yeah.
the throat or whatever, and then he's going to drop her or whatever it was.
yeah,
It entirely depends how far the country wants to take it. If they're going to fully ban it and get rid of it or restrict it, I kind of think it should be a little bit more restricted with regard to if you got like a kid can go into EB Games here with their parent and the parent can go buy them any game. Like
yeah,
it needs to kind of be the way like what I think is it needs to kind of be alcohol or smokes, where the parent can't buy the kid the alcohol or the smoke or the game or whatever or the movie.
yeah,
So then they're not subjecting the person to it. I don't think it needs to be fully banned, but teach people from it. Put it,
Exactly.
put it in schools or whatever. Teach them that this isn't how it's done. This is what you need to do. Blah blah blah. Obviously, you're going to have extreme people on both sides saying, "Oh, it shouldn't be," or "It should be." But yeah,
And yeah, with
Uh,
video games becoming like more points in educational reference, like Assassin's Creed doing its whole educational tour of Egypt, that might open up a lot of doors, honestly, for how we view this fiction.
And VR is going to make it very interesting as well.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, anything else to say?
It's heavy stuff.
It's heavy stuff, and honestly, let's see where it goes. Like, and the whole stuff with Quantic Dream, all that stuff, like it's messy. All this sexual abuse, all that, it's messy, and it's kind of like a bubble. When it pops, everything comes out at once. So like the whole recent slew of scandals and all that stuff, I think we're gonna see more of it, and we're gonna see more of that stuff reflected in our art coming up. So we're gonna have to learn how we depict it, how we sell it, and how we include it in medium.
Yeah, this is definitely a growing pain for video games as a medium. And, you know, you can look back historically and see it with art, you know, like painted art and whatnot, and literature and stuff like that, and movies too. So this is definitely just a growing pain of video games that we eventually had to work out, and now it looks like it's coming up now.
Yep.
What were you going to continue saying, Chris? Or...
No, I think you're exactly right. It's a growing pain for it, growing pain for the industry, and once it gets to the point where, I don't want to say like more games that take abuse, or once it gets to the point where it's more normalized in its depiction of these negative aspects of life, and it's done so tastefully. I think it'll be a non-issue, honestly.
Yeah, it's basically the reason why this is causing a mix-up is because this is the first game to at least that people know of, or we all know of here, unless anyone's got another example that deals with this specific issue. Which is not
actually kind of visually seeing it.
Visually seeing
a lot of games like Silent Hill,
right? They have a backstory or something to it.
Things, or show you visual images meant to afflict that kind of psychosis. But this is definitely not. I think Anthony said it earlier, in that I think really the big hinging point is the fact that you sit there and do nothing, and not that you're forced to stop the abuse. Because I really feel like if you're immediately forced to stop the abuse in some way, this discussion wouldn't be happening.
Right. And I think that goes back to the point that I was making earlier, how it's like, you know, in a lot of ways this can help expose people to, hey, this happens in the real world, and, you know, you'll be faced with a choice. You know, what choice do you make here? I'm not saying it's like you'll be able to perfectly replicate your experience in a video game in real life or anything, but I'm just saying, you know, it definitely tells people, you know, you always have a choice. You can stand by or stop it.
Gives you a frame of reference, if anything.
So, that's the end of the heavy stuff. Probably should have saved the whole Toad hat thing for after this. Honestly. But that was quite the topic.
That is honestly a very weird, obscure gaming mystery that has been solved at this point.
I mean, last week we delved into Mario's tattoo, and the
fact that he has nipples.
Yeah, right?
That weirded me out enough.
No belly button.
No belly button. So he was probably grown in a tank.
Mario Jesus.
He was
the next Mario game, the Crucifixion.
He was grown in like a septic tank or something. You know, plumber. That's how he became a plumber. He's a product of the sewer system.
I will say, I gotta give nods to Odyssey for on one level actually making you do plumbing work.
So, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
really?
I played that.
You might know what I'm talking about.
I played that part.
It's in the modern area that they showed off a lot in trailers and all that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the last segment for today, deals from the USA. So, if you're looking to pick up some cool stuff and you live in the US, what do we got?
So, starting off with the PS4, I just went on the internet and had a look, and I obviously don't live there, so makes it a bit hard. But we've got a 1TB PS4 Slim, plus Call of Duty World War II for $329.99 on Amazon. Also, we have another PS4 Slim bundle with Call of Duty Infinite Warfare and Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare Remastered for $299.99 at GameStop. So these are deals that are coming up this week, so you can go in any of these places like GameStop or Amazon and get them. They should be available unless they're sold out. We have a PS4 Pro limited edition Star Wars console for $3.99 at Best Buy.
Oh. Anyway, sorry.
I wonder why the limited edition's still there.
Yeah. Oh.
And Amazon and Walmart have the same prices for those as well, so you should be able to jump in there and get them.
Okay.
On the Xbox side, we have a Xbox One X 1TB for $488. That's just the console only on Amazon. That was the only One X deal that I could find. All the others were around the same price, and they were all on Amazon as well. So there's a couple there, so they shouldn't sell out anytime soon. Xbox One S 500 gig version with Minecraft and Minecraft Story Mode Season 1 for $239 on Amazon. That's a
good deal.
PUBG
Yeah,
bundle
that's a good
as
deal,
well.
actually.
It's
Pretty
the
good
same
deal.
price.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got a PUBG bundle as well. It's the same price.
Okay.
And that one is on Amazon as well.
Mhm.
Xbox One S 1TB with Assassin's Creed Origins Rainbow Six Siege for $299.99, which is a fairly good deal
Good
as
deal
well.
too.
Yeah.
That is a fantastic deal.
That's also on Amazon. Nintendo Switch. We have a Mario Red Nintendo Switch with Super Mario Odyssey plus a carry case for $465 on
It's
Amazon.
worth it just for the carry case alone.
$400 for a carry case, blimey.
It's steep. Yeah, that's.
Well, I
That's
mean,
a
like
deal.
when
I
I got
don't know
my
if that's a deal.
no, when I got my Switch, it was on launch night, and it's like I did wait like a week or so before being able to find any stock of a carrying case anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
I got mine off Amazon for like $15. It's a solid little hard case. I like it a lot.
Yeah, no, they're super easy to find now, but
Yeah, now
Yeah.
they're great.
yeah.
Well, that's, if you reckon that's expensive, listen to this one. Neon Nintendo Switch plus 4-game bundle with a 64GB SD card for $624. That's at Walmart. That comes with Breath of the Wild, 1-2 Switch,
24.
Just Dance 2017, and Super Bomberman.
You're actually losing money on that
if
one.
the games were a bit better,
Yeah, you're actually losing money on that one.
Because of the SD card, especially.
Yeah, for sure.
No, you're losing money because
Um,
like the Switch is 300.
Yeah.
Yeah, games are 240. Like the 4 games are 240, assuming you're charging 60.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's 540 right there, and then like a 64 gig SD card is pretty cheap now. It's
What,
like $20.
I was only 20.
Yeah, it's like maybe 15, $20. So
Gee, they're like 50, yeah.
yeah, so you're
And for... Yeah, go on, Taylor, sorry.
no, keep going. Sorry.
Alright. For PC, Humble Bundle, pay what you want for Humble Best of 2017 bundle. So they're one of the Humble Bundle deals that you get. Up to 90% off horror titles from GOG as well.
Okay.
And 20% off PC titles with a code from Green Man Gaming. I don't think we've got that here. But the code is FEB20. So if you go on there and put that in, you should be able to get 20% off.
Okay.
And up to 70% off Telltale games from GOG as well.
All right,
And
and
that's
then
it.
I actually have a deal for you guys regarding EVE Online. The EVE Online Galaxy Pack. Okay, you can get this with a promo code Payday for things like 20 some odd % off. The price is usually $99. It gets dropped down to like $73. With this starter pack, you get everything you need to start playing the game. You get 3 months of subscription time, which is $45 right there, and you get 3 ship skins, $1,100 or 1,100 plets, which is worth about $20 right there too, and some cool outfits, which again you can all sell on the market. So however you want to divvy up the items for that. You also get 2 multiple character training certificates and 5 skill extractors, which
Nice.
yeah, you can. They may not mean a lot to you when you're first starting out, but they will later, or you can always just sell them. So yeah, if you were to buy the Plets equivalent to sell for in-game currency, it would cost you maybe around $150 or so. But now you're only paying $70 for all the
Nice.
stuff you
That's
get.
pretty decent.
Yeah. So if you ever
I got a hot deal as well.
okay.
If-
Oh, yeah.
This
Go
is for
first.
like local people. If you have a Toys R Us around you, go find it. I saw a guy holding a sign today, 30% off everything. I didn't go in yet. I'm gonna do
Whoa.
it probably tonight.
Okay.
But
Or
I'm
go
gonna
raid
check
the Toys
some
R Us.
video. Yeah, so
Yeah.
if the video games are on sale, hopefully they're not too picked over.
Wait, Toys R Us there sells video games.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I actually pre-ordered.
Oh, wow.
It's like actually
Right?
that's where I got the DSi from. Honestly,
Yeah.
Oh man.
yeah.
Gee, they
Uh,
don't have
came
that
out.
here.
Also, if anyone has noticed on Steam, there's currently, speaking of Bandai Namco, there is a weekend deal for Bandai Namco games on Steam. It'll currently, I think it's like up to 75% off. Most importantly, Okami HD is on sale.
Oh, is it?
Everybody should go get that.
Yes. Okay.
How much is that?
Okami HD full price is $20, so cheap in anyways,
Ooh.
but it's currently $13.99, so 30%
Wow.
off.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right.
Definitely worth your time if you never played.
Yeah.
No, I never played that. So.
Those are definitely some great deals. Anthony, where can we find you on social media?
I'm not really on social media. I only have a Facebook, which is just at Anthony Dennis.
Yeah.
You should be able to find me on there. But I don't really post to Facebook or Twitter. My time is spent like running the site's social media and getting all the Twitter and all that up and running. So yeah.
All right. Andrew?
You can find me on all the good stuff, the Instagrams, the Twitters, at Duronsky, Dronski.
All right. Chris?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Instagram is Cheap Salsa. On
Okay.
Facebook and Twitter, it's C. Lidikanen. You're probably gonna have to look up that last name.
Yeah, definitely. And all right, I'm personally not on social media besides Twitter, which you can go follow at Inferus Taylor. All I tweet about is Eve stuff. But yeah, so this is the time where I usually plug all the places you can find Culture of Gaming. You can find it at Facebook, facebook.com/Culture of Gaming, twitter.com/cog.net. Do we have an Instagram yet or no?
Not really. No, not yet.
Okay. All right, so never mind on that. Twitch.tv, you're here right now. Twitch.tv/Culture of Gaming. That is, in fact, where you are. YouTube.com/Culture of Gaming. We are on, if you just want to get the audio for this podcast, we are on iTunes, SoundCloud.
Yeah, iTunes, SoundCloud, Mixer,
Yeah,
TuneIn
Mixer.
Radio, and a couple of others, but I can't remember them, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, look how
Podomatic, that's the other
accessible.
one.
Yeah. All right. And is there one more thing I'm forgetting? No, I don't think so.
I'll just tune in here very quickly. We're about to launch a retro podcast as well. That's
Okay.
going to be launching later this month. That is on Facebook. You can find the group for that, Culture of Gaming /Retro Rumble Podcast. Should be able to find that on there. And that's going to be on all the same SoundCloud, iTunes, and all of that. One of our English writers is in the process of getting all that set up, and yeah, he's got all that planned. So yeah, that'll be an interesting, fun thing to look forward to.
Yeah. Oh, and the one thing I was forgetting was the Culture of Gaming community Discord. So if you want to talk with the cast of the podcast about any of the topics we discussed this week, feel free to hit us up on the community Discord for Culture of Gaming, which you can get to just by clicking on our site, on the little side panel it's on. So yeah, this has been the Power Up Podcast. We will see you guys next week.
Bye.